Well, hopefully it's true, but according to the article, there claims that there are signs that 45 that Trump's base, the inbreeding base, the ones that bounce up and down on his dick, are leaving him on the coronavirus. Hopefully that's true. As COVID-19 rages in America, voters are giving the fake President Donald Trump record low numbers on his coronavirus performance. Last week we saw Trump score his worst ratings yet in an ABC News Ipsos poll. This week he's hit bottom in the NBC News, Wall Street Journal, and Quinnipiac University polls. But perhaps what is most surprising is that there are real signs that Trump's base is leaving him on the issue of the coronavirus. Trump's coronavirus approval rating with Republicans is dropping below 80% in the average poll. You see that well in the ABC News Ipsos poll, 78%, the Quinnipiac poll, 79%. Trump's overall approval rating, as measured by Gallup, regularly has hit 90% among Republicans since the beginning of 2018, but it has never been lower than 85%. But overall, he's only got like a 38% approval rating. Trump's numbers look even worse when you examine where he is with groups that make up that base: whites without a college degree and rural voters. Whites without a college degree and rural voters and the rural voters went for Trump by around a 30-point margin, depending on the survey as a group in 2016. Among these white voters without a college degree, Trump's approval rating on the coronavirus is an average of the ABC News, Ipsos, and Quinnipiac polls is just about 50%. That matches his disapproval rating. In other words, Trump's doing no better than even among what is supposed to be a bedrock group. The numbers, though, are no better for him among the rural voters either. In an average of the ABC News, Ipsos, and Quinnipiac polls, his approval rating is among the rural voters is 48%, but overall, like I said, it's 38%. But his disapproval stands at 50%. So basically, 50% of the world hates him. Basically, again, you want to be running up the score with base groups that voted for you by around 30% in 2016. Trump's just running even here. Now, there is no reason it had to be this way for Trump. Back in early April, Trump was getting strong ratings from all these groups in his base. He was averaging a 90% approval rating in the Republican Party, according to ABC News and Ipsos and Quinnipiac University polls when it came to his coronavirus performance. He was well into the 60s with both whites without a college degree and rural voters in both polls. What we've seen is that his base is clearly running away from him because they judged his performance over the last 3 months as being negative. The big question with an election in the fall is whether these voters are merely saying that they disapprove of Trump on the coronavirus, but are still going to vote for him anyway. We don't know. Hopefully they don't. There are certainly some members of his base who are never going to vote for former Vice President Joe Biden, even though they dislike Trump's handling of the coronavirus. Still, there are signs that Trump's coronavirus performance has hurted him even against Biden. Trump has just a 75-point lead among Republicans against Biden in the Quinnipiac poll. He wants that to be at least 80 to 85 points as it was in 2016. Biden has an 86-point lead among Democrats in the same poll. This mirrors other national polling showing that Biden is doing better among Democrats than Trump is doing among the Republicans. Trump's ahead by a mere 13 points among whites without a college degree against Biden in the Quinnipiac poll. An aggregate of other polling doesn't show quite that same decline, although it has Trump down by 10 points, which likewise Trump's up to 21 points with rural voters in the Quinnipiac poll. That looks a lot like an average of the polling. Overall, these may seem like large margins, but they're not anywhere near as well as how Trump did in 2016. It's pretty clear that Trump's having issues with his base. It's another illustration of the fact that Trump likely can't win if voters don't trust him on the coronavirus at all. Now, if you like the video, give the video a like, and subscribe to the channel, and then you can also follow me on my podcast on the other 4 podcast apps that I mentioned earlier. So if you want to hear what I gotta say, then just tune in. I'm going to have a video out of my podcast later, so you can tune in then.